coming up on the show today, it's St. Patrick's Day, and it'll be a St. Patrick's Day celebration all day long, don't you know? And what we're also going to do is we're going to see how well Matt, Piper, and I did in our predictions for the Academy Awards. I'm not holding out much hope for me. And talk about a few other Irish little tidbits for the day, don't you know? And it's all coming up right after this.
It's KB's unemployed sheet. He's unemployed and didn't know what to do, so he started a shade. Talks about stuff to kill time. He didn't know what to call it, so he called it KB's Unemployed Show.
That is right. It is KB's Unemployed Show. It is the St. Patrick's Day edition, welcoming all the smart and good-looking viewers, those of Irish descent and those not, to the show. We're quickly approaching, I want to say we're like day 97. We'll have to do a special show when we get to my 100th day of unemployment, I think. But I think, yeah, we're about day 97 where we're at right now. And we'll have to see what transgresses there, if you will. If you just hold on for a second, I gotta make sure that we're going live on X, and are we live on X? Yes, we are. Good, then we're live everywhere. So all right, let's get this started. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. It is St. Patrick's Day, and people ask me all the time, do you go out and celebrate St. Patrick's Day? You know, are you Irish? And it's like, no. I'm American. I'm of Irish descent, but I am not Irish. My parents were not from Ireland. So that doesn't really count, if you will. But people are like, oh, I'm Irish. Well, everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. But, you know, I stick with I'm an American and of this descent, because that's probably the truth. Because I'm an American. Now I got a friend, Jeff, who's got first generation relatives over there. Yeah, you can walk around saying that you're Irish if you do that, but otherwise you can't. So it's really, I am celebrating, though, as you can see. I do have a little glass of Tully. Yeah, and I put a rock in it so everyone can just back off about that. And then, of course, I have a Guinness as well. So I'll be enjoying a Guinness, a little Irish whiskey. Well, let me just go back to back with that, shall we? Guinness, I love Guinness. I don't know why. And then we'll tell you. I like myself a Guinness every once in a while. Like it quite a bit. But a lot of people don't realize if you are on a diet, Guinness is lower in calories than like Miller Lite, and I believe it's lower in calories than Michelob Ultra. It's right there, though. It is a low-calorie beer. So if that's what you want to, if you want to feel like you're drinking, yet not drink a lot, it is Guinness. Now, the taste of a Guinness, personally, I have trouble with. I do have trouble with having probably more than 2 or 3. It's not like you could go out and pound Guinnesses or Guinness, if you will, over and over and over again. But yeah, 2 of them. You're right, Brent. 2 of them and you kind of get full. But it is the lightest of beers. And what's interesting about the Guinness is I'm going to be talking about this a little bit later, but I'll just show you a picture of it right now. What people don't fully realize is when the black and tan, right there's the black and tan. The black and tan, the Guinness is on the top. Now, people might think logically, right, that the Guinness would be on the bottom, but it is not. It is on the top. I remember my son was playing hockey I believe my son was playing hockey at some point up in Beaver Dam. It was St. Patrick's Day, and we had to wait for him. My wife and I had to wait for him. So during practice, so I don't know where we went. Went around the corner. Might have been even like an Applebee's or something. There wasn't a lot up there. It was one of those, a Chili's, Applebee's, TJ Dickweed's, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. And we were up there, and probably, if I'm a betting man, we got some potato skins, maybe some Irish nachos or something like that. And guy in there just bulletproof, hammered drunk, absolutely berating the woman behind the bar who was bartending about how to make a black and tan. And he kept instructing her how to make the black and tan. And he said, no, you got to pour it over the spoon. You got to do this. Slower, slower, slower. And it's mixing up and it's mixing up. Well, this knucklehead had no idea how to make a black and tan. He didn't know that the Guinness is the lighter of the two beers. Okay. And it is the Guinness that floats on top. So he was trying to have them put the harp on top or bat sail or whatever they were making with. So he's yelling, going, no, you're doing it too fast. Got to do it slower. Well, it was never going to go together. So finally, after he's just done, oh, you don't know how to do it. Just give me a beer. And I kind of called her over and I go, hey, can you make me a black and tan and do it the same way, but the Guinness goes on top and it floats. Comes out perfectly. And how'd you get that? Guy yells at me. You just didn't know how to make it, my man. You did not. You were giving her the wrong directions. And now you're sitting there with your Coors Light Silver Bullet, and I've got this delicious black and tan. But I will come back to the black and tan a little bit later when I talk about St. Patrick's Day. I got some fun things I want to talk about. Probably tell a couple of St. Patrick's Day stories, and might also get into, I know I'm also going to get into my five, or I don't know, there's three of them, maybe three or four of my favorite drunk Irishman videos. And also the top 5 foods that people say they like on St. Patrick's Day, but they're lying, because at the end of the day, it just sucks. That and a lot more will be coming up. But Oscars rundown. Kind of wanted to start with the Oscars rundown, and the last show was Matt Miller Piper, the news girl, and I talking about the Oscars and who was going to win and who didn't win. I don't think it's going to come as a surprise to anyone out there that I didn't even get close to nailing it. No, I had no one. No one I picked won anything. I think maybe I said something about I like Sean Penn as best supporting actor. And he, of course, did win that for one battle after another. I may have said that. But my best picture, I never look at that as at the Oscars or the Academy Awards based on what I like the best, because it's not about that at all. It's all about the narrative. And I think that was true again this year. That's what a lot of people are saying with one battle after another. A good movie, not a great movie. I didn't even get through it. I got kind of bored with it. I got really bored with Hamnet. Like that's all I had to see right away coming out of the gate was all I had to see was a woman living in the forest with a falcon in the and going out there all the time in the first 20 minutes of the movie, and I'm like, I'm out. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll go back and watch it someday. But we'll go down the list. Best supporting actress. This one Piper called. She called this one Amy Madigan in Weapons, and she's aged, huh? I mean, remember the kind of, cute little Amy Madigan, whispery voice Amy Madigan from Field of Dreams, and now it's like, who are you? I mean, you look like Sissy Spacek, for gosh sakes. But Amy Madigan in Weapons, which I don't even know what it's about. Again, no idea. Then supporting actor is the one I got right. And I think we all agreed it was probably going to be Sean Penn in One Battle After Another. Because Sean Penn's just a great actor. He really is good at just about anything that he does. Best actress, Jessie Buckley in Hamnet. I know that Piper and Matt both called that one, but I'm sorry. I went with what I liked the best, and I was really hoping that, and I knew she wouldn't, but I would have loved to seen Kate Hudson get it for her portrayal of Claire Sardina and Song Sung Blue. If you have not seen it yet, you should watch it, because if you knew anything, about Lightning and Thunder, there's such a great story, and it certainly is. It was certainly a lot more. What is the word that I'm looking for? It wasn't as pleasant as they made it appear in the movie. I mean, there were a lot of dark times in there, but it was you couldn't mistake the fact how much they loved each other, and she kind of captured that. And I was really hoping that one was going to work, but no, we got the woman in the red dress living in the woods with a falcon. Best actor, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. I did not see Sinners. It came up. I think HBO Max might have it on now, and I might go back and watch it. But then again, I'll probably just move on to something else, because that's, the way that I am. It's, that time has come. I don't know if I'm going to go back. No one's really raving about it now. Now, best director, Matt Miller thought it was going to be a split going to what's his name for one for Sinners, and Best Picture, One Battle After Another. Well, One Battle After Another won Best Picture. For me, I love Begonia. I thought that was cool as hell. Now, I also thought F1 was a fun movie, but F1 as a movie was just, it was basically Ricky Bobby just going faster with Days of Thunder jammed in there. It wasn't really that riveting a film, but nonetheless, I like that certainly more than One Battle After Another. But Paul Thomas Anderson got One Battle After Another, and he got for Best Picture, Best Director, and I think he got like Best Adapted Screenplay. Like, of the stuff that he's done, it's like almost like he had to kind of play the narrative in order to get the statue, because I'm telling you, Boogie Nights was an incredible movie, and Boogie Nights was a bajillion times better than this. So I can't remember the podcast that I was listening to, but I was listening to a podcast that was talking about Academy Awards and is it a good film or is it not a good film? And I found this to be an absolutely remarkable and accurate, incredibly accurate description of whether, or I guess you could say criteria, of whether or not it is a good movie. And it's defined this way. If you're sitting around and there's nothing on TV, and you know how you scroll and you come, oh, should I watch this? Should I watch that? And then, you'll hit, I don't know whether it's AMC or TBS or TNT or any one of those that are out there that are, running a live broadcast. And all of a sudden you see, boom, this movie come up. Do you stop and watch it? And if you do, then it was a good movie. If you don't, or if you wouldn't, then it was not a good movie. So if you apply that to, let's take One Battle After Another, and let's put that up against F1. So you're sitting around on a rainy afternoon, right? And I don't want to do anything. I don't want to watch that, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing on. I don't want to watch golf. And you're flipping, boom, 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 One Battle After Another. You're going to stop and go, ooh, 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 ooh. No, you're not. No. But if you're flipping around, you see F1 is running back to back on TBS or TNT or whatever one it is when they get on their I think it's TNT that does that, where they'll run Titanic 9 times in a row on a Saturday or Sunday. The ones that they continually put in rotation are, Jacob, Shawshank Redemption is always running there back to back to back to back. Saving Private Ryan is one. Independence Day is another one that they do that with. Titanic. So if you're scrolling, would you stop and watch the movie? And if the answer is yes, then it was a great movie. If the answer is no, I don't know how good it was. So, I mean, I can tell you any time, anywhere, any place, anything, any whatever, any, like Water for Chocolate, any of that crap. There's no way on a Saturday afternoon, there's no way I'm stopping and watching that at all. So therefore, ergo, it is not a good movie. In terms of the broadcast, didn't watch a lot of it because I knew, it's just the same old pomposity from Hollywood and, just whining and complaining. And what are they wearing? What buttons do they have on? And, Conan took a few shots in the monologue. I did watch most of the monologue. It was meh. I think Billy Crystal, since it's like Bob Hope and then Johnny Carson did it for a while, and then Billy Crystal, and they've never really had a good host. That's not sequential there. Then they kicked it around a little bit, but Billy Crystal's openings were always really strong. They're always written by a guy who is originally from Milwaukee, Bruce Valanche, and then wrote with Matt Groening and stuff like that. Incredibly funny. And then it got into this, people didn't want to, no one would take it because they would get absolutely shredded by the press. Someone would say, I want to host it. They go back to a tweet 7.5 years earlier where they misspelled a word. And the next thing you know, they're getting canceled and all that bullshit. So no one wanted to host. So now you get Conan. I had hoped for Conan, but it was a meh. It's just kind of meh. It's all right. It wasn't great. It was just kind of meh. The red carpet wasn't that exciting. I went to try and do. I noticed this. I was going to do a live broadcast, and I was all pumped up for this. That I was just going to watch the red carpet and trash the people walking in. Well, first of all, the coverage was crap, and second of all, it's no fun to just sit there and trash people alone. So if I do something like that again, I got to get a guest to trash with me. Piper the News Girl was not available at all, but hopefully she will be in the future for anything like that. Apparently, Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner got a little pissed off. They get their noses out of joint. Sociable. They got their noses out of joint a little bit. And little Timmy was the butt of some jokes early on in the monologue and such. And apparently they got upset. They walked out for about an hour, and they needed seat fillers to come in for about an hour. Which, I wonder what's on. Something might be wrong with the old Twitter feed there, because just hold tight. I'm going to go see what's happening. Because it says I am live, but it's not showing up as anybody watching. But we'll have to see. Oh, yeah, 36 people are. Hello to you people over there in the Twitter world. I'm lagging behind Dan O'Donnell and ESPN Milwaukee, but that's fine because I'm not doing this for the popularity. I'm not doing this because I want to be a star. I'm just doing it because I like doing it. And I don't have anyone to really talk to during the day. So, yeah, Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner, Kendall Jenner, Caitlyn, Kylie. All I know is that all of a sudden they had a thing with Kim Kardashian showing up. And it's like all this shit going on with the wars in the Middle East and the way the media is so shallow. And I just don't, the way they write stuff and they try and spin stuff. It's like, ooh, she's looking, Kim Kardashian has gone back to her Arab look. What? Yeah, I mean, I get it. She's Armenian. But she's always kind of had that dark complected look. But they're trying to make it a trend based on, the negative things that are happening in the Middle East. It's like, come on. And then you wonder why we all suck, why everyone's, psychotic. And that's probably a lot of the reason why right there. Because they do that stuff and then we buy into it. And next thing you know, we don't know. Young people don't know anything about anything or why things are the way they are. And boom, everything goes to shit and we can't figure out why. But Jacob in and below. Yes, Jacob. Hello, Twitter world. This is George Truly. George Truly. Rest in peace, huh? Well, no, I really don't want you to rest in peace. Not in the least. I'm gonna get Cato on, and I talked to him not too long ago, and I don't know. I've known Cato for well over 30 years. And I said, something, Cato, if you've ever noticed so long that I've known you, have you ever noticed that I've never asked you a single question about OJ? And I haven't. And for a couple of reasons. Number one is there's certainly a lot of more to the person than being OJ's guy, but I understand he has, or, house guest or whatever. But I understand he's got to talk about it. But he's a lot funnier in a lot of different areas because of that. And in spite of that, rather. But I was thinking, well, what's he going to do? Has he been like sitting back with that one, just that one golden piece of information that he hasn't dropped on anyone yet over the last 35 years? And somehow when I ask him, hey, come on, what's the real truth there? K-Train, what do we get going on? And he's like, okay, I haven't told anyone this, but no, he's not going to do that. But I may have the OK train on, coming up and talking about, a lot of different things with the true crime world. But the great one, if you haven't seen this, and I highly suggest you do this, is to go to YouTube. And it's my go-to place. I'm on YouTube all the time because sometimes I don't want to sit through an entire show. But go to YouTube and go to the Court TV page because they break out all this stuff into little 3-4 minute clips, which is what I should really do because Lord knows 55 minutes from start to finish of my yakking ass is not all that compelling. You got to fight through an awful lot just to get to the good stuff if there is any at all. However, they break it out. This Corey Richards thing was pretty wild. I wasn't in. I'm trying to think of what. The Olympics. The Olympics came along. So there was one trial that I didn't get into because of the Olympics. And then the Corey Richards thing started. And I kind of lost track of that. And it might have been the Olympics. It doesn't matter. Well, anyway, she's found guilty. She's the one. If you remember, she was the one who killed her husband with fentanyl, poison with fentanyl. She had no shot in hell when the prosecution starts bringing witnesses in. I don't know why you just sit there and go, hey, why you just don't go, you got me. Because she was buying fentanyl off of someone on the street. They found the dealer. Oh yeah, she asked me to buy fentanyl. And then all of a sudden her husband shows up dead with fentanyl poisoning. It's like, what the hell? Aren't you going to, yeah, I mean, how are you going to explain that away? I can tell you right now, not that I would ever want any fentanyl in the house, but if I went out and was trying to score fentanyl on the street and my wife ended up dead, that's not a big leap at all. Not a big leap at all to get there. Well, and then she had called her ex-husband's dad and said some disturbing things. And then they had all of the texts between her and her lover that I think I went over last week, which are so cringe. If you're the lover and you got to sit on the stands and not only the woman you were banging kills somebody, her husband, but right, you've got to listen to all these cringy texts that you send. It's like, ugh. I mean, I go back to stuff that I said to, that I remember. It comes in shooting into my brain of something I might have said to somebody in college, and it's like, that's horrible. How can I say that? That's the most embarrassing thing ever. But then to have to see it in the court of law, good God, y'all, that would be horrible. Absolutely horrible. But go to YouTube and watch, because even if you're not one of those body expert or body movement experts or interpersonal communication or experts or body language experts, when the jury comes back in and they got the one shot of the camera frozen on her, oh my God, you go, you can almost feel by watching her that she knows she's toast. And then they start reading the verdicts, and they're going through stuff, and she starts breathing faster and everything like that. And it's like, I don't know, maybe it's one of those things that has kind of it's desensitized us too, because that situation is so wrought with emotion, and you're trying to figure out what's going on in her mind. And she's looking down, and in her head is like, oh my God, what is going to happen to me? I'm never going to see my kids. I wish I hadn't done that, and this and that. And hindsight's always 2020. But hindsight is, you're 100% correct if you ever say with hindsight, I shouldn't have killed that person. Well, maybe high 90s. There could be some self-defense areas where it's like, yeah, I'm glad I killed that person. But by and large, it's not. By and large, it's no, you're pretty safe regretting killing anybody. But you could just tell when you watch her, it's like, and you go, oh my God, this is going to be so brutal. And I do not want to be her at all. And you didn't, because she was found guilty. But you know what? Let's do a little news, because there was somebody else who was found guilty of some things. We're going to do some little news, and then we're going to get to St. Patrick's Day stuff. There was a man in Florida, of course. I'm so sick of these things being in Florida. Florida man. Yeah, it's a Florida man. Yeah, it is. But I don't want to say a Florida man, because then every story would start with a Florida man. But nonetheless, I digress. A Florida man was arrested last year for a case of, karaoke rage. He has pled guilty to aggravated assault and gun charges. Pled guilty. What happened was 35-year-old Aaron Jablonski was at the Overtime Sports Bar in Clearwater and literally went off when he found out the karaoke machine wasn't working. What do you mean? What do you mean it's not working? To put the karaoke machine on. When someone tried to calm him down, he said, get off, knock it off, don't touch me. And then pulled out a pistol and fired off a round over the fucking karaoke machine. He was on top of that. He was not. He pointed out a pistol and pointed at another guy and fired. And then luckily it didn't hit that guy. But he was not legally able to have a gun because of previous felony convictions. So not only was he firing off a gun in a karaoke bar, hardly a dangerous place. I don't think you have karaoke gangs squaring off against each other. Not like in Pitch Perfect, where they had those big showdowns, those big a cappella showdowns. But he entered his guilty pleas, was taken into custody. But one thing that we didn't get out of this, I don't know who the reporter is, but they didn't get the most vital piece of information. The most vital piece of information they needed to get was, what song did he want to sing? I want to know what the go-to karaoke song is. So one thing I want to know about everybody, what's your go-to karaoke song? Everyone's got one. Everyone's got a go-to. What is your go-to karaoke song? I've sung in bands. There's probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs I played in bands and have fronted. But every time I go in to do karaoke, I don't do any of those songs. I don't go pick one out of the old Crisis set list, or I don't pick one out of the old Dungarees set list and sing it. I always get there's one that is my karaoke song, and that is Brandy by Looking Glass. I don't know why. You're going to sing karaoke? Yes. What are you going to sing? Brandy by Looking Glass. I don't know why, but that is the one that I would always sing. There's a port in a western bay, and it serves 100 ships a day. It's one of my favorites. I would never play it in a band, but in karaoke, yeah. Brent says Little Red Corvette. I had a friend that whenever we were together, we would sing Little Red Corvette. Well, I'm just going to let that sit right there, Brent. Don't ask, don't tell. I mean, you do you. I'm not big into the duets at all. But that is the thing, the duet is probably, I'm sure there are people out there that met at a karaoke bar singing Endless Love by Lionel Richie. From that, isn't that in the movie where the guy burns down the chick's house, or the chick burns down the guy's house back in the early 80s? Here, Thank God I'm a Country Boy. Eastbound and Down by Jerry Reed. Yeah, Eastbound and Down is good. Jerry Reed is great. When you're hot, you're hot. Amos Moses. It's another great Jerry Reed song. But in other music news, former Kiss guitarist Vinnie Vincent, and most of you said, Vinnie Vincent, who's Vinnie Vincent? He played for Kiss, because the only ones we really know are Ace Frehley and Tommy Thayer, because Ace was the first, Thayer was the longest. Bruce Kulick was in there for a while. But then there was Vinnie Vincent, and who was probably a good player. But Vincent, after getting fired by Kiss, went along to do, went ahead to do pretty much nothing at all, had no career per se. But he has gone to put out his first album. He's putting out his first album in 30 years. I swear to God. I cannot believe this when I saw it. I don't know if you're the only one who gets the album. I'm trying to find this out. But Vincent played with Kiss from 1982 to 1984. So he was barely with Kiss, right? Barely with them. No one really knows. But it says, okay, the purchase includes vinyl and CD packaging for each song, which would allow buyers to release tracks individually and resell them. Okay. So what he is doing is selling it for an exorbitant amount and then saying, yeah, but you guys can turn around and resell it. So in a way, it's kind of like crowdsourcing. It is kind of like door-to-door sales for Vinnie Vincent's album. The album is called Guitarmageddon, and the price, well, just wait. I'll get to that in a second. It's a 10-track collection, and it has songs like Heavy Metal Poontang and Cock Teaser. Great. All right. I'm still not, you still don't have me. Even you haven't grabbed me with any of those titles. Sorry, Vinny. The price tag, but understand, you get to re-release it if you want and make your money back. How much is it? $2 million. $2 million for a Vinnie Vincent album. And you can buy individual tracks for $200,000. So he'll split them down for you. $2 million, but you can resell it. I'm going to say you're not getting that money back. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're not getting that money back. Now, this is not unprecedented. A guy back in the mid 2010s, back in the mid 2010s, bought a Wu-Tang album for $2 million, but I think with that Wu-Tang album, it was a one of a kind, and then he could flip it. They only just wanted the $2 million. So no one lining up here. There's no one lining up in my world to go after that Vinnie Vincent for that Vinnie Vincent album at all. Moms. The story for the moms out there. They have found a new babysitter, in a way, a new place to go to occupy their kids. And where is that? Well, they're saying it is like a free air-conditioned space where kids can explore and have fun. The name of that place is Home Depot. Yes. Now, I can understand this conceptually. Now, moms are taking their kids to Home Depot, and I have not had a problem with watching kids run rampant at Home Depot, but they're taking them to Home Depot. And the reason they are, and I love this, I think this is a fantastic idea, as long as they're not in my way. But they're taking kids exploring at Home Depot, and they let them touch rugs. So you get a tactile thing there, twist knobs, open doors, flip on switches, teaching them new words in the aisles. And it's kind of like just a big, it's a home improvement store, but it's like a busy board, right? And we all had that little tool thing that we were trying to put the hammer in, or we had it for our kids and hammer in the square pegs and all that. But I'm telling you, moms are saying it's kind of like a Montessori thing, and it's very tactile, and they love taking their kids. It gives them a mental break when they have to get out of the house, and maybe they can't get the kids out of the house because it's raining. They can always take them to Home Depot. And some people are concerned about, safety issues, and it's not a toy store. It's a place for work. Sure it is, but some parenting is going to come in there. Don't let them pick up the handsaw. Nothing heavy, right? It's not like you're just like, hey, throwing a 4-year-old into Home Depot and say, I'll be back in an hour. Hopefully the mom is right there with them. Don't touch that. Okay, you can do this. Don't touch that. Opening the doors. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say I love this, and I love this a lot. And I'll tell you why. Because you see, and like I said, I get more of this from Sue, but I do see this to be true, is that it seems as if this is the rule rather than the exception. And it used to be the other way around. But I just get the feeling that a lot of parents are having kids because that's what they're quote unquote supposed to do. And so they have kids, but they don't raise them. That makes any sense to you. And they're more, and I'm sure you've seen parents are out and the kid is acting up or something like that. And their first reaction is to get mad at the kid because they're interrupting what they came to do, or it's disturbing them. And the fact of the matter is, it's like, no, your job is to watch out for that kid. And if the kid is interrupting you and you want your own, if you want peace and quiet, or you don't want to be bothered with whatever you're doing, then get a babysitter, right? Get someone to watch them. But Sue, and I've said this a million times, that we are so lucky when our son was born that we just started running numbers on things. And we realized that she was basically going to work to pay for childcare. So we made, she's going 40 hours a week. She's stressed out. And all we're doing is shoveling that money, I guess, for weekly ear infections and runny noses, because that's all we were getting from daycare, right? So, wow, we could use that money for ear tubes, or you could have not put them in there. So we made the decision. It's like, we're going to tighten the belt and we'll get through this, but you're going to stay home. And And mostly it was because the price was just outrageous, which then they defend by going, well, it is your child. How much is that worth to you? It's like, oh, go pound sand. Okay, don't be pulling that crap on me. Of course, my child is worth everything in the world, but there's some realities to this situation here too. So she ended up staying home with him, but she would do a lot of stuff like this, and it was not necessarily taking him to a Home Depot as much as it was just working with him on things and stuff that he had to do. She would turn it into games. Like Sue loves to garden, and like in the fall when she was going out and pulling carrots out of the garden, she would lay them out. Now, how many carrots are this? How many? If I give one more, then how many carrots do you have? Blah 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 blah. So you can turn it into things. One of the greatest things that I ever saw was during COVID, when it was on social media, when what a mom was making her kids do is, and we all have this drawer, we all do. It is the Tupperware drawer. It is the bane of our existence. The covers are flying all over the place. Nothing stacks anywhere. She would, for a fun day for the kids, she'd say, here we go. Open up the cupboard, throw all the Tupperware on the floor and go, all right, play with it, make some stuff out of it, make sure you organize it on the way before you put it back. And she was basically getting the kid to organize the Tupperware drawer, which for the life of me, I can't figure out how we can possibly send a man to, or not a man, how we can send a lunar, or not, it wouldn't be lunar because it's not the moon, a Mars rover to Mars. It can drive around the planet. It can take soil samples. It can analyze them and send it back to Earth and tell us whether or not life could survive there. Yet we can't find a good contraption for keeping Tupperware from flying all over the place. Why don't we work on that before we start sending people to the red planet, if you will? Let's get that Tupperware thing fixed. That's where I stand on that, in case you were wondering. And then one last thing, and I hate this shit has got to stop. I'm telling you. This is going to come back, and it is going to bite people in the butt. It's going to bite us in the butt. Okay. And I don't care if it is advancement of science, but there's a startup. First of all, I don't like the word startup in this. That implies to me startup, not a lot of experience. Cortical Labs is building AI data centers in Melbourne and Singapore. What they have is what is called a CL1 device, Cortical Labs 1, I would assume. And I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's a code-deployable biological computer. All right? I don't know what that is. It's an AI system. It is an AI system. It is a code-deployable biological computer. You know what that means? What that means is they have actually been able to make a computer that is part computer, part being. And it uses human living motor brain neurons. Okay, so they're actually combining machine and man now. It's like, can you guys just stop this shit now? Someone has got to stop this. All right, you got to go at least go watch Terminator or some of these movies, for God's sakes. You're going right down that path, and that's exactly what's going to happen, right? That is exactly what is going to happen. It is going to spin out of control, and they are not going to be able to kill these robots. You know why? Because nobody is ever able to. Nobody is. Okay, it's going to get out of control. They're going to keep getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And then the next thing you know, it's going to totally screw us over. And we are not going to be able to walk this one back. And they're saying it is a more sustainable and resource efficient path for growing AI capacity. All right. And what it does is there's daily maintenance with the computer, biological maintenance, which means removing and topping up cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so it's like your spine, you got to change out your spinal fluid on a computer. I don't change my oil as much as I should. And changing out a spinal fluid on a brain computer, man, just they got to cut this shit out. That's all I can say is they have got to. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. Now, I mean, there are things you can use robots for, in medicine that I think is that's fantastic. Like you got your that Da Vinci robotic surgical system, which you can go in and just be to the milli-inch of accuracy. That's great. But just to let something go on its own and run on integrated brain motor neuron tissues, man, oh man, there's no way. These people are diabolical. They're diabolical because you know what? This is not, let's say they do advances. It's not going to be used for good. It never is. It's always used for evil. They always say it's going to be used for good, but it's not. It's always used for evil. And this is going to be the same thing unless someone says, hey, stop messing with this. It started with Dolly, the sheep. They did it in England. They cloned a sheep. Now, Tom Brady's had his dog cloned, which I don't know if I would want to do that. I liked my old dogs, but I don't know if I would clone one. And now we're doing it. Stem cells, awesome. I get stem cells and stem cell research, but damn. This is messed up stuff. It is messed up. Messed up. So, where are we getting today? What are we coming to today? Well, I'll tell you what we're coming to today. It's St. Patrick's Day. Now, a lot of people, they say, hey, do you go out on St. Patrick's Day? Well, I don't go out anymore. It started out, I used to go out all the time, and I get out early. I take the whole day off. And I would take the entire day off. And then what I would do is I would, go early in the morning and go all the way until night. And I would go early in the morning and then all the way at night. And then it kind of, I'll kind of back off that a little bit. And then I'll go at lunch. Maybe I'll go do that. And then I would go out at lunch. And then my son got a little older. And then what ended up happening was he thought at the age of, I don't know what it was, at the age of 5, maybe, what he ended up doing was getting a book called Happy Patrick's Day. And so Happy Patrick's Day, he immediately thought that it was, the name of the holiday was Patrick's Day. So, okay. If it was Patrick's Day, then we're going to celebrate his day. So it kind of became like a second birthday, right? And so what ended up happening was all of a sudden I'm going, well, if it's my son's name is Patrick and he thinks it's Patrick's Day, it's kind of a bad dad. If I went out and basically, just went on a pisser all day and then came back. And so here's my son's special day and dad comes home loaded. I don't want to do that at all. So Patrick's Day then took precedent. So I kind of stopped going out after that. And I just stay home. So now I have a little bit of Irish whiskey and end up having a little bit of corned beef. We got a little corned beef and cabbage going in the slow cooker. Now, I'm a corned beef snob. I'm not going to deny it. My corned beef, I love it, but it's got to be the chunky stuff, right? You can't go and I can't have corned beef that is a sliced up. So if I ever go to a place and order corned beef, I ask them. I go, "What is it? Is it the is it the good stuff, big chunky corned beef, or is it sliced thin?" And if they go slice, I'll pass. I get a burger. No thanks. I do not want that at all. And the reason I don't want that is because I know that it's not off a brisket. So, but if you get that big chunky corned beef and it's falling off there, oh God, oh yeah, that's sweet. That is some good stuff. And so we put a corned beef into the slow cooker, got to cook it forever, which we do. And then we take it from there and have a little. Well, now I got rye rolls this time, and we're gonna do like little Reuben sliders. But when I do a Reuben, I don't do it as the sauerkraut. I don't use sauerkraut. What I use is creamy coleslaw. So I don't know what they call it. They call it an Irish Reuben, but I like that better than I do with the sauerkraut. And so we have a little bit of corned beef and cabbage. Now, I don't know. I mean, now that the youngster is gone, and I think what might happen is I may go out for a quick pop later on. But every time you do it, when you get older, you say, I'm going to go out, and you go, this is going to be fun. And it's like, it never is. Or maybe sometimes it is, but it ends up being too late. But we'll probably go out and I'll probably go out and have a pop somewhere. But anyway, that's what we'll do. As soon as I get off here, it's going to be, get that corned beef out, make us a little corned beef sandwich, finish up my Guinness. Hey, cheers to you. Sláinte. And that becomes my St. Patrick's Day. So I basically took the edge off St. Patrick's Day because I did not want to come home drunk on a day that my son thought was his day, which I'm telling you, that's a good dad move. I'm going to say that's a pretty good parenting move to do that. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a good choice. But I got a lot of facts here, some St. Patrick's Day facts. If you'd like to hear them, well, why wouldn't you? Because you get nothing better. And we're going to go. Let's start off with some Guinness facts, shall we? We'll start off with a few Guinness facts. Guinness, and these are those facts. I like finding facts that you can just drop on somebody, and you can just go, hey, did you know, blah, 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 and you can throw it on them, and you can let them, and then you can just let them go with it and see, and then you can get out of the conversation. So here's one of those. Hey, did you know that Guinness is actually older than the United States of America? It was founded in 1759. How about that? And when he opened the Guinness Brewery, he signed a 9,000-year lease for the property. So you're not getting rid of him anytime soon. There's a correct way to pour a Guinness, and you have to hold it at a 45-degree angle, pour it about 3/4 of the way full and let it rest. And then you fill it again. And sometimes you'll see that spoon where they pour it off the spoon. That gives you the thick, creamy head. Of course, the Guinness people have done this. And they said to pour the perfect Guinness, it takes exactly 119 seconds. I'm not so sure if that's true, but they all like to say stuff like that to prove how expert they are at knowing their own beer. Like I do know Jimmy Cantor told us this when he was Ron Miller. And now he's doing great things at Central Standard. I don't know, like the Drew and KB bourbon, which was a great idea. But they all have numbers. And he said at Summerfest, the perfect temperature for a beer at Summerfest. And they can track how much is sold at whenever. They sell the most beer when it is 78 degrees outside. 78. That is it. That's the target number. When you're drinking and you get the foamy head, you should not sip on the foamy head. You just drink, just go right through it. There you go, just right through the head, and then you let it, get the money shot on the got milk money shot. It is not, now I don't know if this is true, but I can see this. They say, maybe you can tell. It looks like it, well, if I get it up here close, you might be able to tell. If you look in the bottom there, Guinness is not brown or black. It is a ruby red color. Many people think it's brown or black, but it's not. It's a big ruby red. And then, of course, when you drink it out of the can, it's not the same. You get a Guinness in a bottle. It's not exactly the same, but you get it out of the can and they put that nitrogen ball in there. That's how you get that nice creamy Guinness head on there. So for you Guinness fans. So I'm almost done with mine. Time to go over here to a little Tully. Not JMO, little Tullamore Dew. Some other facts. Now, a lot of people wouldn't know this, but here's something you should know. If you were to wager a guess on, in terms of drinking days, where St. Patrick's Day would rank in terms of the top drinking days in the United States, I think a lot of people would say it's probably top 2, top 3, right? I could see someone saying that it's right about there. But you know what? They would be wrong. They would be wrong because it is 4th. Yes, it is 4th. New Year's Eve is a number 1. New Year's Eve is number 1. 4th of July sneaks in there. Labor Day, I believe it's Labor Day that sneaks in ahead of them. Or maybe it's Christmas. But anyway, those are the ones which are the bigger drinking days of the year. And so St. Patrick's Day comes in number 4. Although St. Patrick's Day is just weird in the sense that that all you do is there's no other way to celebrate the good works this saint did other than to go out and just get plowed. And if I could do that, maybe, hey, how do you want to remember me when I'm gone on my birthday? I want everyone to go and get plowed, but don't drive. No. Americans spend about $4.4 billion. The average person spends $35 celebrating St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing green. 80% of the people wear green. I never used to wear green, but I did wear green today just because I'm doing the show. And also I had to teach today, so I wore green. But I usually didn't wear green, as most people know that know Drew and I, we don't wear the ribbon. So I didn't usually wear green. About 31 Americans claim some Irish heritage. Second only to German, where people say they're German. And it's about 7 times, the people say they're from Ireland, is about 7 times the population of Ireland. Of course, they're of heritage, and that's what I am, of Irish heritage. Now, I don't know if you've been to Chicago at all on St. Patrick's Day. I've got a couple of great St. Patrick's Day stories, but one great St. Patrick's Day story, which I will get to. But they always dye the Chicago River green on St. Patrick's Day, or as I like to say, they dye it greener. But it gets that vibrant Associated Bank green color. It just takes 40 pounds of eco-friendly dye to turn that Chicago River entirely green. It lasts about 5 hours, so I'm sure they put more in there. But nonetheless, It is pretty cool to see that all green that way. But my St. Patrick's Day story, I was working in Chicago, and Peggy Carroll is one, and Lisa Johnson were the two women that I worked with. And Peggy was an art director, and Lisa was an admin, and it was St. Patrick's Day, and we worked about 2 blocks from Kitty O'Shea's. And you could go back and look up what year this was, but we're a couple blocks from Kitty O'Shea's, so we walked down to Kitty O'Shea's to get a pop, and so I am in there with 2 very attractive young women, and that's the only reason that I would have ever experienced this. But the bartender comes up and says, "Hey, can I get you something?" And Peggy and Lisa are there, and I'm standing with them, and order up some shots of Jägermeister, and he pours one for himself. So we're doing shots of Jaeger. And I'll be damned if the guy that I'm not doing shots of Jägermeister with on St. Patrick's Day at Kitty O'Shea's in Chicago, I'll be damned if it's not freaking Harrison Ford. Yes, Harrison Ford was behind the bar at Kitty O'Shea's. Now, why was he behind the bar? Now, if any of you have ever watched the movie The Fugitive, you would know exactly why he was behind the bar, because there is that scene in the movie The Fugitive where he's chasing through the St. Patrick's Day parade, and they had filmed it that morning, and he was done, and he went to Kitty O'Shea's to get a couple of pops, and so he wouldn't have to be out in the public. He stayed behind the bar, ended up doing shooters with Harrison Ford. I don't think he remembers. I think if I bumped into him, he wouldn't remember. He might remember Peggy; she was pretty hot, but I don't think he wouldn't remember me by any stretch of the imagination. Like I would think he would. Well, you don't remember me? Well, why would you remember? Well, come on, I remember you were there. Well, yeah, I'm Harrison Ford. Of course, you're going to remember seeing me. Why would I remember seeing KB? It doesn't make any sense to me. So that is a great St. Patrick's Day Chicago story. The other St. Patrick's Day story and I've gone on a few good heaters. One was at the Harp in Milwaukee, and my buddy Jimmy and I went in. Doors open at 6 a.m. We did not leave until doors closed at 2:30 a.m. Now, I'm in my 20s. Set it as a goal. This is what we're going to do. And we got in there early enough. And if any of you know the Harp, the way it was laid out back in the days, you would walk in, make a left turn at the door, and the bar kind of curved around. There's a little corner you could tuck yourself into, and no one could get behind you. No one could walk around you. So you were kind of like backed up against the wall. It's like you're a mob guy in an Italian restaurant. So you're just sitting back and you can watch all the action in front of you. Well, you'd sit, you get a little clip going, then you'd stop, put a spacer in. Then you put the clip back on, then you have some Irish stew, and you put the clip back on, yada, 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 move down, and that ends up being a great day. And so we went the entire day. Now, people that go out are such idiots. And then when I went and I stopped, another reason I stopped going out was when I started doing the Dave and Carol show, we'd have to go to this bar on the East Side, Hooligans, at 6 a.m. And I saw these doors open. I saw people within 45 minutes puking, going in, and just, why would you do that? I can understand, okay, it's St. Patrick's Day. I can go out early, going to get a little jag going. But just straight to puke. It's just puke and rally at 7:15 a.m. does not sound like it's going to make for a good day. Right now, hey, don't get me wrong. I've gone and I may have napped in between on occasion, but just within 45 to 50 minutes, you're already yakking up your green eggs and ham. It's like, are you kidding me? No. But what I also wanted to do is I'm going to share with you right now, and hopefully I can stop this. Oh, shoot, I wanted to put these up individually. But anyway, I'll show you one and I'll stop. These are Irish people. The great thing about Irish people is that every Irish person that I met who's been like really, really, truly Irish. They're wonderful people. I have nothing bad. I don't really have anything bad to say about anyone, but the Irish people are incredibly wonderful and very jovial bunch. If they get pissed off at you because you told an Irish joke, it's not because they're mad, you offended them. It's because you offended them because it's not funny. And I didn't really do any investigative research on this, but I'm pretty sure that if you go to YouTube and you put in any other nationality, you're not going to get videos. But if you go to YouTube and you put in, and if you put drunk Irishman videos in, you're going to get those. You're going to get some drunk Irishman videos. There's a whole section, drunk Irishman videos. So what I did was I went in and I pulled out 4 of my favorite drunk Irishman videos. Hopefully, I couldn't split this out, but you can see this. 2 drunk Irishmen fighting in a bar. See if we can understand them.
No, that. Hey, you worry about the top of me, right? Who was it out? Who was it? From Common Course. Take back now.
Okay. He's backing up. Come on. What do you got? What do you got? Take it back. Take it back. I got another. Take it back.
What you have?
A lot of the Irish I talk to, they're like, oh, we don't like the stereotype of being drunks. What do you think?
Well, I can tell you one thing. You go to Ireland, you go to a weekend away, you see a lot of drunk Irish.
This guy's bulletproof.
But we do not mean any harm by any of our drunkenness. We're always there for a laugh. And that's all we mean. We don't mean anything by being drunk at all.
You're darn right. They don't mean anything by being drunk. We're just there for a laugh. Thank you.
Is the main thing. And we can behave ourselves. And that's the main thing.
Because in America, we don't use that word crack.
Drunk Irishman walking up a hill. I think all of us at some point or another have experienced this. Oh, man down. Back down the hill. We're going to help get him up here. I don't know why he's got the, where the hat idea comes from. There we go. And he dropped his paper down the hill. We're going to give him a hand. And he left to work early because if you check it out, this dude's got a suit and he's got a shirt and tie on. Now, I don't know where he's working. Probably he's got a tie bar, so probably not a really classy place. But there we go. Drunk Irishman trying to walk up a hill. Oh, wait, let me get my paper. Yeah, I got to get this. I got to get my paper home. Let me try and fold this up. And for anyone who's ever tried to put something back together drunk, you just know. And this is my favorite of all time. You got to see the whole thing. There's only parts here. All you have to do is Google 2 drunk Irishmen moving a couch. And this is what this kills me every time I watch it. 2 drunk, and if you watch this guy, one more I have to go. If you look at the guy who's behind, okay, drop the top, but he's having a rough time because his pants are rough, so he's fallen at least a couple of times. Fucking target, hey. 2 drunk Irishmen moving a couch. It's all there on YouTube. And we're coming to the end of the show. It's 4:11. And what I want to do, though, is everyone goes out on St. Patrick's Day. And they all go, I'm Irish. And this and that. And then you go and they have all this Irish food and they have things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my top 5. And this is my top 5. These are my top 5 Irish food or drink items. Top 5 Irish food and drink items that people who are not Irish go out and say that they love, but they're really crappy and Irish people don't really like them all that much. Okay. So these are people that go out and they're not Irish and they eat this stuff once a year and they go, oh, I love it. But then they never eat it again any other time of the year. So these are the top 5 foods that people who are not Irish say that they love, but they really hate. And the Irish probably hate it too. We're going to start number 5 with the cooked cabbage, boiled cabbage. No, I'm going to take a hard pass on it's lettuce. It's lettuce's evil twin. Cabbage is just nasty. And the only reason cabbage is good in coleslaw is because it's doused in mayonnaise and sugar. Otherwise, cabbage just completely blows as a food item. You do, my wife will make, hey, let's have stuffed cabbage leaves. Let's have those. Those are great. I only eat the stuff on the inside because the cabbage sucks. So coming in at number 5, okay, it is boiled cabbage. Number 4, it is Irish soda bread. Irish soda bread, I don't know if you've ever had it, but it kind of tastes like someone took flour and mixed it with mud paste. It's got the same texture, real gritty and dirty. And then they said, oh, you know what we'll do? We'll throw some raisins in there and that'll make it taste good. No, it doesn't. Irish soda bread is just nasty. It is just nasty stuff. And number 3, everyone says they love, but they're lying, is the black and tan. I showed you the black and tan before. You know why I say this? When have you ever gone out on any day other than St. Patrick's Day and seen someone who is not like wearing an Irishman fisherman sweater or is not like so Irish, it's not even, that you can tell because they got the big gin blossom on their nose, right? When have you ever seen anyone go out and say, I want a black and tan? Never. Never. It's the only time you drink a black and tan. Never go out and get it at any other time. So anyone who goes out, oh, I love black and tans. No, you don't. You drink them on St. Patrick's Day so you can look cool, but you do not like a black and tan. Number 2, boiled dinner. Yeah, boiled dinner, no thank you. This is nasty stuff too. The boiled dinner, the corned beef. Yeah, I love corned beef. But boiled potatoes, there's that cabbage again rearing its ugly head. And carrots and potatoes and all boiled in one big pot, just cooked in water. I'll take a hard pass. That is a hard pass on the boiled dinner. And the number 1 thing that people say they love, but no one in their right mind drinks it, is the dumbest thing in the world, and that is green beer. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. There's one time and only one time when you can drink green beer. And that is when you go to an Irish bar after St. Patrick's Day is done and they're unloading the green beer barrels. And you can get them for like $1 a pitcher because they just got to get rid of it. That's the one and only time that it is okay to drink green beer. Up until then, no, thank you. It was the absolute worst thing in the world. So those are 5 things that people who are not Irish say they love, but they really don't love because they suck. Be back tomorrow with KB's Unemployed show, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I talked to Newsgirl Piper. She'll be back all 3 days next week. So I'm trying to work her in to be like my regular co-host because I just think she's so funny. And I think once she gets comfortable, she could be an awful lot of fun. But that is the St. Patrick's Day edition of KB's Unemployed show. I've been unemployed for about 97 days now, and I'm not sure when I'm going back to work, but I may not go back to work at all, and it's fine with me because retirement is suiting me well. I don't mind it. Got me a Guinness here, and I'm gonna be finishing up my tully. So good, so good, so good. And then a little Guinness. And what I say to you as you move along, and we'll see you tomorrow, don't you know? But until we do, the only thing that I have to say to you is make good choices. And that's it for this episode of KB's Unemployed show. If you want to follow me on my unemployed journey, just subscribe to my channel below or dive into one of the playlists for all my unemployed action.